kid, people always told me I was too quiet. Always told me I was too quiet. And I remember I would get so upset over this internally because I was too quiet. I would get so upset, and it would really hurt me that people would call me too quiet. And these people they didn't think of anything of it. They were just like, oh, she's a little kid, and she's quiet, that's cute. But to me, that was like a big thing. Even going into, I think, high school, or maybe even college and stuff, if somebody told me I was too quiet or I didn't talk enough, I would take offense to it. And I know that stems from when I was a kid and somebody told me I was too quiet, and I took it to heart. And that emotion stayed with me. It stayed with me throughout my entire life. Even now, if somebody tells me I'm too quiet, I'll probably get upset internally. I will. I will. And because I can be. I am more quiet. Maybe not on camera, but in real life. Not that this isn't real life, but this is part of why I do videos, because it brings out the not as quiet side of Jen. But I've always been more of a passive person, more introspective. I've always been in my head more so. So why, for an introvert or a person who's more introspective, somebody who's in their head a lot, why do we get so offended when somebody's like, you're too quiet? Well, maybe somebody who's very loud would get offended if somebody says you're too loud. Or maybe they won't, because a lot of those people are outgoing. They just don't give a shit. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting how we take things to heart. And, I'm much less quiet than I used to be. But I think part of me still holds on to those comments. Still hold on to those comments. So why don't I want to be quiet? Why don't I think it's okay to be quiet? I think part of it is how my interpretation of it. So when I was younger and people were like, you're way too quiet. Or I remember I had my uncle said, I think I've only heard you speak like 8 sentences in your entire life. I was, I wasn't like a mute or anything, but I was a shy kid. I was shy. I was quiet. I didn't like to talk a lot, maybe I would write stuff down. I was just like in my head, and that's okay. I used to be creative in my ways and do my own thing. So why do we feel it's not accepting? We feel it's not accepting. It's not normal. It's not normal to be too quiet. It's not normal to be too loud, right? So it's this not wanting to feel abnormal to anybody. And I think a lot of kids go through this. So if you're a parent or you deal with children, just be mindful of the words that you use to children, because some of this stuff to you, if you're not that quiet, introverted little girl, or if that's not who you once were, where you can actually understand where that little child's coming from, then it's best to not say anything like that to a child, because the child may take it to heart and that's going to stick with them their entire life. But maybe it'll push them down the line. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I was a public relations major in college. I don't know why. I guess I didn't really know what it entailed, but just the name public relations, you would think that I wouldn't go for that field. I'd go to something like being a journalist or something, right? But I don't know, maybe on a subconscious level, I knew that I needed that. I needed that for myself to become this whole normal human being. I don't know. But I don't do that anymore anyway. So, but now I, working with people all the time, I'm communicating a lot. I'm talking a lot. But it's like this one-on-one thing. So it's like a trust thing, I think, also. So this notion of silence being a bad thing, quiet being a bad thing, being in your head or being introspective being a negative thing. Is that still a thing? Is that still, I don't know. Do we still view people who are too quiet as abnormal in some way? I mean, it's not like they're not going to talk to you if you don't ask questions. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm a bad conversation starter. I am not good with starting conversations. I will do the thing and I will talk about the weather or like political event or something. You know, the conversation starter, like the typical examples of like what not to start a conversation with. Like, so it's a nice day out today, or it's warm out today, right? I do that. I do that because I don't know how to start a conversation. But if somebody starts a conversation for me and asks me a question, then I'm cool. I'm okay. I can talk with you. No problem. But it's like this morning or not very long ago. I want to do a daily video every single day. And sometimes I plan out what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I don't. I didn't last night or this morning. I had no idea. And I was like, something's just going to come to me because stuff usually will come to me, an idea. And nothing was coming. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not feeling that great this morning. Like I'm kind of in a lower state. And I'm just going to put on the camera and I'm just going to talk and something will come out eventually. And it's true. Something is coming out that I didn't plan this. I just started, kind of talking about something and it's turning into something. Whether I'll use it, we'll see. But yeah, that's what I mean. So sometimes it's that you got to get the conversation started for somebody who's more introverted or somebody who's more passive. And that's fine. That's who they are. And that's okay. It's kind of this trait that we're born with. Why are people born more introverted versus extroverted? I mean, I'm sure there's studies on this. I just don't know, honestly. So if you know, let me know in the comments. But, or is this something we pick up? I mean, I think it's an innate something within us, right? For example, my brother, he's more outgoing than me, or from a personality perspective. He's always been more friendly, or as a kid, he would talk to everybody and everything, and I'd be like, just keep to myself. So I think that's an inborn, it's just a quality we have, right? And it's not good, it's not bad. So when we start, telling people that, you're too quiet, you're too loud, well, that's just how somebody is, that's just who they are. Don't try to change them. You can't change somebody. It's like trying to make them, parents who their son or daughter their son wants to wear high heels, and they force their son to put on, regular boy sneakers or something, right? They're forcing them to not be who they are, So, this will stick with somebody. For their life if they've, been trying to bend them when they don't feel that way, and then you're just going to live your life with just like fake, a mask on all the time, which is not good because it's going to come out later in life anyway. So you might as well be yourself when you're young and just go with it. So, I feel like a lot of people can't be themselves right now, and I talked about this, when I talked about in my body image video, how we are very influenced by the outside, we're influenced by the fitness industry, society, celebrities, and we always feel like we have to fit a mold of some sort. So this goes for our personalities too, not just our physical appearance, but this goes for our personalities. And, if we're born a certain way, if we're more on the quiet side, a lot of times quiet people may go outside their comfort zone and they may do things to help them not be so quiet. But that's only because they want to fit into society's standards of what normal is, right? I don't know, maybe people who are too loud, do they try to not be so loud? Maybe, I don't know. So it's amazing how much we are influenced and how much we are always trying to be normal. What is normal? I don't know. What is normal? What is normal? Normal for me could be different and normal for you, but I don't know where these standards of normalcy came from. Are they in a book somewhere? Maybe. I don't know. I think it's just a progression of time, and what we see over time and what we experience over time forms an imprint in our brain. And our brain forms this idea, this story of like who we are supposed to be in our lives. Growing up, who are we supposed to be? And anything outside the norm, then we are rejected, or maybe we, where stuff like prejudice, stereotyping comes in, and stuff like that. So it's amazing in society how much things have changed, yet they haven't. We still have prejudice, we still have stereotyping, we still have people who are very racist or homophobic or just hate, this hatred, this anger towards other people because other people don't fit their quality of normal, their standard of normalcy. But normalcy for one culture could be very different from another culture. So is there a universal normal? No, there's not a universal normal. Depends what religion you are. Depends what culture background, what race you are, where you live. A lot of times, where you live, maybe on your financial status, right? That plays a part too. Whether you're like a Republican or you're a Democrat. There's normalcy, these standards for each thing, but there's no universal normalcy. There isn't. What's the universal normal is to have 2 arms, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyeballs, 1 nose. It's not normal to have 1 arm, 1 eye, be like a cyclops. It's not normal to have, 2 fingers only. Or like 1 toe, 1 big toe. That's not normal. You go to the circus. That's what they did. People with deformities, when they were born, they would join the circus because that's where they felt the most accepted, I guess, right? That's where they felt the most accepted. Even now, people, if you're in a wheelchair, you're disabled of some sort, people are going to look at you. They're going to judge you because you don't seem normal. You don't seem normal. It's sad that, put yourself in that person's shoes. If you were born with 1 toe or you were born with 1 eye, would you be happy with that? Maybe not, because you'd feel abnormal compared to other people around you. But what if you could accept yourself? I mean, some people do. They accept themselves for how they are. And that is so awesome, because that is such a powerful, it's such a hard thing to overcome. It's such a hard thing to overcome if you're being judged by 98, 99% of the people around you. That they're always looking at you when you go out. To overcome that and to be completely authentic and true to yourself and content with yourself, sure about yourself, confident in yourself, that to me is the most amazing thing ever. It really is. And we worry about going outside the house with like, I don't know, with a pimple. I always use the example of the pimple because it's a great example. The pimple. You go outside with the pimple and you feel like everybody's honing in on that pimple and looking at that pimple when they're not. But think about it. If you had 1 arm or 1 leg, you'd get a lot more stares, right? Because it's like on the larger, it's on the farther this scale of normalcy. So, yeah, you have a pimple. People get pimples. It's okay. But having 1 arm or 1 toe, that's not okay, because that's not normal. That's not a normal human being. Even though you have no control over it because you were just born. You didn't ask to have 1 arm or 1 limb. You didn't ask it. Or people, they go to war and they come back and they have to get, amputees. They're serving their country and then people are looking at them weird. I've seen it. I've done it too. I've looked at people who are amputees because I'm not used to seeing it. And I feel bad that I'm judging in a certain way, but on a subconscious level, there's always some kind of judgment because it's imprinted in my brain. This what is normal, right? This level of normalcy, because 99% of the people when I, if I go outside the house are not amputees that I see. So, the next time if you catch yourself judging somebody, just remember that person, they're a human being. They're a human being. They're not a spectacle. They're not part of a circus. They're not any different than you. They could be the most amazing people, and they probably are the most amazing people because they're not scared to go outside the house anymore. They've overcome that. They've overpowered their insecurities. Yet, you and I still have an insecurity about a pimple or an insecurity about something really, really mild in comparison. Yet we're the normal ones, right? I don't know. So, with that being said, I'd love to see everybody get along. I'd love to see the hate and the prejudice and just all the hatred and the anger that comes out of people because people are different, or they don't follow the same religion, or they don't have the same sexual preference, or they don't look the same, or they don't have the same skin color. I would love to see everybody move past that shit. It's been long enough. It's like history keeps repeating itself, and we don't learn. We still have people who are stuck in this very narrow mindset. How do they wake up? How do those people wake up? They may never wake up. So it starts with you, and it starts with I, and it starts with us becoming aware. And the fact that you're even watching this video means that you're more self-aware, that you're willing to be open to other ideas. Whereas some people are not. They're just so closed off from the world that they don't know any other way. So there's hope. There's hope, and it starts with us, and it starts with you. So I hope you all have a great day. If you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. I put out a video every single morning. I love you all, appreciate you all, and I will see you on tomorrow's video. Okay, peace out.